The PFL is finally ready to return in April, and one of the biggest free agent signings in the history of the promotion is here with me today. He jumps into the welterweight tournament where he will attempt to add another championship to his legacy and $1 million grand prize in December. Welcome in today, Rory MacDonald. Rory, welcome in. Thank you so much for taking the time for me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So, Rory, we spoke, after you signed with the PFL and obviously everything that was going on with the season last year. Unfortunately, we didn't get to have the season last year. So, let me start by asking, how has this past year been for you?
It's been pretty good. I mean, the time off at first didn't sound like a very good thing for me. I was really looking forward to starting a new chapter in my career with PFL, but in hindsight, it actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise for me. I felt like I got to work out a lot of personal things that I was struggling with at the tail end of my Bellator time with Bellator. Um, I got to work out those things and just felt like I made so many improvements inside the gym, not have to worry about getting into fight shape, so to speak, but just kind of develop my skill set and work on my mental game. And in the end, I feel like I'm going to be coming in at the best fighter that that anybody's seen so far in my career.
Yeah, I know as a fighter, you never really get just downtime. Usually, when you have downtime, it's because of injury or something like that. And you're kind of like in a weird place because you're recovering. Obviously, I'm sure this last year allowed your body to heal to get ready for the season. But like, do you just feel rejuvenated in a way? Like, as you get ready for the season and start in April, like, do you feel just kind of like rejuvenated? Your body feels good, like because again, this is not time off you would normally get.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I have refocused myself on goals that I've set for myself to achieve, and the year off, it gave me a fire to hit this year, hard, hit the ground running, so I can achieve my goals in this sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I just recently spoke to one of your teammates, one of the guys you work with in the past, Olivier Aubin Mercier, and he had told me that he was down in Puerto Rico working with John Danaher, of course, a coach I'm sure you're familiar with, because obviously everything's kind of shut down in Montreal. Now, I know you actually just recently went down to Florida and we're working with Sanford MMA. So, what's been going on? Because I know that with the pandemic, I know that like Montreal, the gyms in Montreal have kind of been shut down, right?
Yeah, we've had a hard time getting any good training in. So, I actually came down to Sanford last February, and I've been trying to get here ever since. But literally right after we left last February from here, that's when all the COVID stuff started coming into North America, and it kind of threw a wrench in my plans to come back down here since. But just a couple weeks ago, I felt that the Lord was pressing on my heart to move me and the family down there before any more restrictions in Canada start taking place, because they've been pretty tight on us up there in Canada and in my province of Quebec. So we made the decision very last minute. We got a place to stay. We made the flight, and we're finally settled. We've been here for just over 1 week, and life is great. Really happy to be here.
Absolutely. Now I know you were at TriStar and with Faraz Zahabi for such a big part of your career. Obviously, I know you started training on the west side of Canada, then you ended up in Montreal. So I mean, is this a permanent move? Is this more because of the pandemic, like because you can't train in Montreal, or do you intend on calling Sanford MMA your home now?
Well, Canada will always be my home. That's where, that's home base there. And so TriStar and my team there is going to be, obviously my home training center when I'm in Canada, and also my team out west at Toshido MMA with David Lee. That is still what I consider, a home base for me too, as much as I don't get out there as much as I'd like to. Um, but I do feel like what Sanford brings to the table for me is, you know, a great facility, great coaches, a ton of guys my size at a high skill level. I feel like the room has a great atmosphere. So I feel like when it comes to peaking for a fight, this is probably going to be my new home for, preparing for a fight in the future, especially with the lockdowns going on. Um, but even if, say, everything goes back to normal, I kind of have a feeling in my heart this is where I need to be to get in the top shape, top mental mind frame, and get into that zone where I'm hungry to get in there and dominate.
Yeah. And also because once the PFL season starts in April, it's kind of nonstop. I mean, you're going to be fighting, 4 or 5 times this year. If everything goes well, you get to the finals. I imagine it will be just easier kind of having a home base in the United States where you're going to be training also because, again, we don't know what the travel restrictions are going to end up being. I imagine it's probably easier for you, especially now you moved your family, like everything's kind of set up for the season, right?
Yeah, well, that was another reason was, just getting inside the states. So, when it comes time to fly to a fight, I'm already across the border. So you know, it'll be one less thing to worry about.
Yeah. Now, Sanford MMA is a tremendous team. I just spoke to Gilbert Burns a couple weeks ago. Obviously, he's got his title fight coming up. I know Robbie Lawler trains there. Luke Rockhold comes in occasionally. I mean, the team down there is pretty phenomenal. Of course, Henry Hooft, Kami Barzini, a lot of great coaches down there. How has it been working with those guys in terms of both the coaches and the training partners?
I love it. It's amazing. They've made it an incredible atmosphere. There's, like you said, there's a ton of guys that have achieved so much in this sport, and there's no ego in the room, and everybody's in there hungry, ready to help each other and work hard, push each other. I love the environment. Everybody's working hard in there, and there's no ego and drama. It's just hard work, and there's also a form of unity within the group itself. So it's a really positive atmosphere, something that I feel like I could thrive in.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as you're getting ready for the PFL season, I mean, you mentioned the guys that you're going to have around your size to get you ready. That's got to be a huge benefit. Again, I know from talking to Gilbert and some of the other guys, Michael Chandler, who trains down there as well, that there's just a wealth of guys to get you ready, which is, I imagine, exactly what you need for for the season ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. A ton of different bodies at a high skill level, great coaching, great weather, freedom. There's they got it all down here, so I'm really happy to be a part of it, and they've welcomed me with open arms. So I'm very grateful to be here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know you love Montreal, and I love Montreal. I've been there many times. Phenomenal city. But be honest, right now you're not missing the weather in Montreal. I know you're not.
Yeah, no, not really. I'm very happy to be here in this warm weather. I was thinking about them today when I was in the car, just like, oh man, I can't believe my friends and family, they're outside protesting in the snow and everything that they're dealing with. So I'm very grateful that I feel like the Lord led me here, and we're able to be in this kind of freedom. Something that I may have taken for granted in the past.
Yeah. Well, I know, not to keep hammering the point, but the great thing is because again, so many people associate with TriStar, and I know Faraz is a phenomenal head coach, but the great thing working at Sanford, and obviously this is nothing against Faraz, of course, but Henry Hu, Greg Jones, Kami Barzini, great coaching as well. So you're good to go for the season. And obviously now that we know the season is starting in April, have you started getting excited knowing that, you actually have a date, a fight? I mean, they just announced the welterweight roster. We know the dates it's coming. I mean, are you allowing yourself to get a little bit more excited now, knowing the fight is there's actually a timeline now?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I have something in sight now. Even for the rest of the year, I know my dates. So, well, pretty much, I know my dates. So it's nice to have arrived. That I'm going to be preparing my body again, preparing my mind to get hardened for battle. So I'm very excited for that process to start taking place here. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, obviously, coming in day one, Rory, you're technically a newcomer to PFL, but you're going to be stepping in day one. I mean, I'm sure you know this a bit of a target on your back in the welterweight division. I mean, obviously, Ray Cooper's out there, phenomenal fighter, just come off a big win of his own. David Machado is back in the tournament. Magomed Karimov, who actually didn't lose, he just got injured, so he had to drop out of the last tournament. So there's a lot of talent at welterweight, but The reality is, Rory, because of everything you've accomplished in your career, you got to know day one you're going to come with a bit of a target on your back. And you've been in this position for so much of your career as a Bellator champion, top contender in the UFC. Do you kind of relish that, knowing that even though you're not the champion, you know you're gonna get the best out of everybody because everybody wants to be the person to beat Rory MacDonald?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I understand a lot of these guys have something to prove, and they want to use me as that stepping stone. But I'm very happy to know that I'm in a certain mind frame that I'm using them as my stepping stone. I'm not going to be anybody's stepping stone in this tournament, and looking forward to putting my stamp on that this coming year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I know you said when you signed with PFL, there was a lot of reasons why you did it. And I'm not going to make you rehash that. But as we get ready to go into the season, all it matters right now is winning. I mean, obviously, I hope and I enjoy doing interviews with you. So I hope you'll talk to me again. But like, there's no promoting fights. You just got to go out and win. The tournament will go on, the season will go on. And if you keep winning, you're going to get to that $1 million prize and the PFL championship. And as a guy who's been such a cerebral fighter your whole life, you've never been really into the trash talk and all that kind of stuff. Like, do you appreciate what PFL is bringing to this as you get ready to start the season? Like, literally, it's just about winning. And I know that's always been your goal, is to be the best martial artist you can be. Obviously with your family, best family man you can be, and be an example to your kids, I'm sure, as well. But now it's just about winning, right? Like, it takes everything out of it. You just got to go out and win.
Yeah, well, I'm putting it in high priority to go out there and put on a show, and you know, let fans know that my fire for the fight game is back, and to show that through through the way I fight. Yes, obviously I'm going for the win, but I want to win in dominance. So I'm looking to go out there and reestablish myself as a top ranked welterweight in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that point, I mentioned some of the other names in the tournament. I said, of course, you're going to have a bit of a target on your back, but when you look at the field, are you impressed with the talent that PFL has brought in? I know we still got a couple more names to add on to the final roster, but are you impressed by what you've seen out of the other welterweights, the guys you will be potentially fighting?
Yeah, I think it's a great lineup so far. Interested to know who the next three guys that they're waiting to release their names out, but the guys that they did release, it's going to be a high level competition, which I'm very thankful to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Rory, I'm excited to see you back. If I'm excited, I can only imagine how excited you are because I know being a year away from the game sounds like you really did take advantage of it. But at the same time, you're a fighter, you're a martial artist at heart. You know you want to get out there and apply your craft. I know you just went through a move and everything, so I'm excited to see you back in there. I know the fans are excited to see you back in there, and man, I'm just ready to see Rory MacDonald throwing some punches again. If I'm excited, I can only imagine how excited you are.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great start to a new chapter of my career. Uh, Forward to making an explosive entrance again into the sport.
Absolutely. Well, Rory, thank you again. Thank you so much for taking the time for me. As always, I really appreciate. Glad you and the family are doing well in Florida. Enjoy the weather. I'm currently in Ohio where it's 20 degrees, so I wish I was in Florida. But thank you so much for taking the time. Best of luck in the upcoming season. I'm sure we'll chat again during the season, but thank you for doing this today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Damon. Nice talking with you.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon.